everyone, it's Emily from Best Coast Creative. Today I want to just come on because I'm in the process of finishing up a content creation workbook basically, and it's going to be a pretty cool tool, but some things that are coming up, are what kind of social media should we do, what kind of content should we do emails or blogs, or Instagram, TikTok, there's so many options. And one thing that I took away from Crush It, I know some of you saw my little review of that. There wasn't a ton of it that I really was in sync with, but one of the things he talks about that was like, what's true to your DNA, right? What feels good to talk about, what feels good to interact with. Like if you're not really into TikTok, like don't bother. If you don't like, if Facebook can get overwhelming, like choose Instagram stories, do something else that really feels more authentic to you. But on a side note of that, like just sometimes you got to be aware of the difference between what feels intimidating and what doesn't feel good or feel right. Right? Because some of the reasons why I do these videos was because it felt like the easiest way for me to practice communicating into a space that's not just writing or blogging. Blogging is a weird word for what I do, right? Because there's a ton of information in it. But because I can communicate in writing really well, I still felt the need to push myself to keep sharing outside of writing. And this felt like the next best thing, even though I don't always communicate very well verbally, and it can be intimidating, but I still felt like it was good for me. It felt good to do. And it was a good way to also, like, even though I can't explore right now because I'm in this brace, it felt a good way to, like, I can explore, I can show you guys some cool things, and then we can still talk about, like, good information. So it felt like a really authentic way for me to share content outside of writing. And so be aware of that, like what feels good, but maybe a little scary, that's okay. And then, don't force yourself to, like, do a million things just because you think you should, right? If you can only have time or room in your life for one or two ways, do those one or two ways. Find out what feels good for you, what feels good for your audience, where are they, and do those. Don't feel like you have to do everything just because that's what everyone is doing. So, or you feel that's what everyone's doing. I swear to God it's not. Or if they are, they have a huge fucking team, right? So take that pressure off yourselves. That's really the end of it. Look out for this content creation workbook. It's going to be pretty cool. I've had some people testing it. They've really dug it. So yeah, now that Sable says goodbye, I'm saying goodbye. Have a great day, everybody.